So I just dropped mom back off at her memory care facility, and I don't know, some days are good, some days are bad. Today she couldn't tell me what my name was. She called me Mom several times when I got there, and she was so happy to see me, and she's like, Mom, Mom, Mom. And, you know, you really can't tell her, like, no, I'm your daughter. It's more of, you know, yeah, I'm here, you know, it's good to see you too, I love you, you know, that sort of thing. Because deep down she might know that I'm her daughter, and, you know, and she's not able to express, you know, or, because they tell you that they know you by sight. Well, the thing is Mom can only see out of one eye, and that eye is not always dependable. So it's kind of like a, you know, I really have to like focus her face on mine, her eyes on my face, and say, you know, hi, you know, I'm here, it's me. And, you know, and then it will click and you can see her eyes like recognizing me, and then, you know, she'll be present for like a couple seconds or a minute if we're lucky, and then, you know, it's, you know, lights out again basically. And what I mean by that is, you know, she kind of checks out, like if you're daydreaming. That's kind of the look she gets, is if you're daydreaming and you're totally in a trance. That's the look that she gets, and it's sad, and it's like, you know, but when we do get her, I'm like, oh, there you are, you know, like, you know, she's still here. And today, like, if I called her Mom, she wouldn't respond, or she kind of got confused, and so I actually had to call her Kelly, which is her name. And if I called her Kelly, she would actually pay more attention to me. And usually Mom works. I mean, Mom typically works with her. But today it had to be Kelly, and it had to be like, you know, I couldn't be soft about it. I had to be like, Kelly, let's go, you know. Instead of, come on, Mom, let's go, let's do this. You know, it was more of an assertive caregiver role that I had to take today. And I knew it was coming. It's just, it's hard when, you know, you go one day, you know, she's fine, and then the next day she's, you know, she needs a little more TLC and a little bit more direction, you know, so it becomes hard, you know, but I took her out to eat after her doctor's appointment. I've had to cut up her food. I give her the fork as an option. A couple times she did pick it up to use it, but mainly she used her hands. She had pineapple this morning for breakfast, and she kept it in her mouth. She wouldn't swallow it. And so during lunch today, I had to continuously make sure that she was swallowing before she took another bite. And I had to cut up her food even smaller because I was afraid she was going to choke, the way that she was like packing the food inside of her mouth, and she wasn't chewing it completely, or she wasn't swallowing it. And so that's the thing too, is, you know, as she progresses, she's not going to be able to swallow. And they basically say like that's, you know, that's like towards the end of life, because once you can't swallow, you start to aspirate into your lungs. That causes pneumonia. I mean, and there's, you know, it's quantity over quality. So it kind of scared me today about it, but I don't know. I'm just one day at a time, and that's how I feel right now. But when I called her Mom earlier, she looked at me and she's like, where's your mom? And I just was like, okay. I was like, okay, and it's like, Kelly, it was like, let's go, or let's eat her. I don't know what I was telling her, but it just kind of made me pause for a second, and I was just like, okay. You know, she's been pretty good about, like, knowing who we are and who she is, and that she's our mom, but today just kind of, like, I've been fine up until this point where she, you know, she knows my name, and, you know, a couple times, and, like, earlier, she, she was like, I was like, oh, do you want me to call Nana, which is her mom? And she was like, yes. And so I tried calling her, she didn't answer. And she was like, ooh, can you call Skyla? Get Skyla on the phone. And I'm sitting right next to her, and I'm like, I was like, Mom, I'm right here. Skyla's right here. And she looked at me, but it's like she didn't know who I was. And so I was like, okay, I'll get Skyla on the phone. But, it's just kind of hard. Like, I knew that she's not going to know my name. And a couple of times she, didn't know my name. And a couple of times, she didn't even know who I was. Which, I've been fine up until that point. But it's getting harder. And, there's a couple of times where I know she's there. Because I tried to film a video earlier and to send to my brother and his family in Kansas. And I was like, hey, can you say I love you, Terry? And she just started crying, and I was like, Mom, why are you crying? And she just goes, is she okay? Which my mother doesn't, associate a male as a he anymore or a female as a she anymore. It's just her brain not able to connect those two dots. And so it's just, she's just like, oh, is she okay? Is she okay? And I was like, yeah, it's like, he's fine. Everybody's happy and healthy. And, and a couple times she'll tell me that she's sorry. And sometimes she'll talk about herself. She's like, she's trying so hard. And I'm like, and I know she's talking about herself, because, who else is she talking about? Unless she's hallucinating again. But when she does that, she kind of gets a little sad when she tells me that she's trying. And I'm like, I know, Mom, I know you're trying. It's like, and you're doing a great job. You're doing such a great job. And, it's just hard. And, I don't know. There's some days that are good, some days are bad, and I'm just trying to not break down, apparently, like I am now. And, just, be in the present and not worry about the, her not knowing me and stuff, because I know her, she doesn't have to know who I am. I just have to know who she is to help her. So that's how I look at it. And I try to stay so positive, and it's hard sometimes, especially when I'm doing a lot of it by myself. And so family's helping out. Sierra, Terry, Nana, Craig, they all are helping, and Brandy and Nicole, and they're all helping. But it's just, I'm the one taking her to her appointments. I'm the one that's her POA. And so it's just a lot, and I appreciate everybody's help. It's just a lot to handle. But yeah, and then today, trying to get in and out of cars, she's having a lot of trouble with that. And finally, after like 10 minutes of her just staring at the seat and picking at it outside of the car, I had to focus on her, and I was like, Kelly, I need you to help me. I was like, please get in the car, and finally she listened. And I don't know if I broke through to something where she's like, okay, I need to do this. And she was able to get into the car, which was, amazing. But, every time she does something, I tell her, you're doing a great job, you're a rock star, and a couple of times after I told her that, she'll be like, thank you. And I'm like, you're very welcome, you're doing such a good job, and so Skyla, you're doing a great job, you're a rock star. But, it's hard, and I'm not gonna lie, it's hard. There's nothing that you can do. There's no cure. It's a terminal disease. It's considered the longest goodbye, which it sucks, because every stage you have to say goodbye to something that made that person them, and I don't know. It's one of those things. But anywho, I am racking up the data on my phone. So until next time, guys.